Welcome to aminacademy.com. In Mauryan Empire, we will discuss about administration, economy, society, and art. The Kautilya, in his Arthashastra, explains the Saptanga theory, or the theory of the seven elements of the state. According to him, the state is constituted by the following elements: Swamin, that is a king; Amatya, minister or high officials; Janapada, territory and population; Durga, fort; Kosa, that is treasury; Bala, army; and Mitra, ally. The Mauryan administration was a vast bureaucracy that managed all aspects of the life. The military was controlled by a board of 30 members and divided into six committees. The administration also included a village administration headed by the Gramani and a Gopa who oversaw 10 to 15 villages. Economy. The Mauryan economy was based on agriculture, trade, and craft. The state provided irrigation facilities for farmers, measured land, and inspected water distribution channels. The Mauryan Empire also had a uniform system of weights and measures and promoted trade and agriculture. The imperial currency was punch-marked silver coins with the symbol of peacock, crescent, and hill. Society. Megasthenes' book in Indica describes the seven castes in India during the Mauryan period: philosophers, soldiers, Brahmanas, craftsmen, herdsmen, farmers, and magistrates. About art. Mauryan Empire produced many notable work of art, including stupas such as those at Bartuta and Sanchi, which were built to preserve Buddha's relics; the royal palace and the city of Pataliputra; the monolithic rail at Sarnath; the Bodhi Mandala and altar on four pillars at Bodh Gaya; the rock-cut Chastia halls in the Barabar caves near Gaya. Now, little more explanation. The king, Swamin or king, is the soul among all the seven elements of the state. Kautilya deals with various qualities that a king has to possess or cultivate, and the training he has to receive. He advises the kings to find his happiness in the good and his people. Mauryas, who were paternal monarchs, followed his advice and regarded the subjects' welfare and interest as very important. Ministry forms an important limb of the body politics. According to Kautilya, it is as responsible to expect an administration to function efficiently with king alone unaided by a ministry as to expect a chariot to move on one wheel only. Mauryans were the ministers and advisors of the highest grade whose advice had to be sought by the king in all administrative matters. Kautilya talks about their qualification and the test they had to pass. Revenue Department, Samharta. He was in charge of collection of all revenues of the empire and looked after income and expenditure by supervising the work of the Astapatal Adhyaksha, accounts general. Revenue came from land, irrigation, customs, road cesses, cesses, road cesses, soap tax, ferry tax, forests, mines, pastures, crown lands, fees from craftsmen, gambling dens, etc. Kautilya refers to some other kinds of income also such as Pindakara, a fixed commuted tax contribution by the villages from time to time. Sannidata, this treasury officer, cooperated with the Sambartha. He stored the treasure in carefully built strong buildings known as Kosagrita and Kosagara. Military department. The Mauryan army, according to the Pliny, consisted 6 lakh infantry, 30,000 cavalry, 9,000 elephant, and 8,000 chariots. It was under the control of the Senapati, under whom there were several adhyakas or superintendent of different wings and units of the army such as those of infantry, cavalry, war elephants, chariots, navy, and armory. Kautilya refers to different types of warriors, such as the hereditary ones, the mercenaries, soldiers supplied by forest tribes, and those furnished by the allies. Kautilya also talks about the salaries of different ranks of military commanders. Department of Commerce and Industry. It controlled the retail and wholesale price of goods and tried to ensure their steady supply through its adhyakas or market superintendent. It also controlled weights and measures, levied customs duties, regulated foreign trade, and prevented smuggling. Judicial and Police Department. Kautilya refers to the existence of two kinds of courts, Dharmastyas and Kantakosadans, or civil and criminal courts. The Supreme Court at the capital was presided over by the Chief Justice called Dharmatikarin. There were also subordinate courts at the provincial capital, divisions and districts under Amatyas and Pradesh. Four sources of law are mentioned by Kautilya. They are Dharma, sacred laws, Vyavahara, usage, Charitam, customs and precedents, and Rajasena, royal proclamation. Police headquarters were found in all principal centers. There was a Stania in the midst of 800 villages and Dromukla in 400 villages and Karvaitika in 200 villages and Sangrahana in 10 villages. The jail proper known as Bandhanagara was different from the police lockup called Charaka. Severe penalty was prescribed by Kautilya for the dereliction of duty by the Bandha Nagaradhyaksha. Department of Foreign Affairs. Different types of ambassadors and their functions are mentioned by Kautilya. Full-fledged ambassador was known as Nisri Sharta Duta, while one who could not go beyond his instructions in negotiations was called Parimitra Daduta. Palace Department. It was under a controller who looked after the royal household. Settlement and Planning Department. They organized the villages into different types of units known as different names. Provincial and local administration. No worthwhile information is available on this aspect from Kautilya. Only Asokan edicts, particularly Brahmagiri minor rock edicts, says this provincial and local administration. The districts was under the charge of Rajuka or Sokanedics, whose position and functions are similar to those of modern districts collector. Villages, it was under the charge of the Gramani, assisted by a council of elders in the administration of the village. Finally, consequently, fresh debates have begun with regard to the portrayal of the Maurya Empire as one without a high degree of centralization. The Maurya Empire may not have been unitary in character and was neither a welfare state. But in spite of the evidence of unevenness and imbalances in the realm, the inclination towards centripetally cannot be lost sight of. Economy, the nature of land ownership. There is the possibility of five forms of land ownership in the Mauryan state: cultivators, community ownership, king, state. Land revenue, it was the main source of income for the state, but varied from one fourth to one sixth of the produce. It was directly collected by the king's officials from the individual cultivators without bringing in the intermediaries. Tax exemptions or reduction was done by the king whenever necessary. Industrial crafts. There was a growing knowledge of mining of various metals like iron, copper, tin, gold, silver, etc. Textile manufacturing. It was particularly common in Madura, Kasi, Pataliputra, Vanga, Mahisa, and the like. There is a lot of literary and archaeological evidence. Pottery, several pots and portraits have been discovered at the Maurya sites. Woodwork, it is evident from the excavation at Pataliputra and literature. Stone cutting, best evidence of this is found in Asokan architecture, primarily the pillars. Trade and commerce. Internal trade. There was a brisk internal trade among different parts and various types of goods. Internal exchange of northern products, that is blankets, skins, etc., with southern products, precious stones, pearl, diamonds, like that, was on the important trades. In external trade was carried on which foreign countries, particularly with the Hellenic Greek world and Burma to some extent. Transport and communication. Internal trade routes followed the main highways and navigable rivers. External trade routes were mainly along the coasts and coastal land routes. State regulation of trade. The state taxed all manufactured goods as well as imported goods. Trade tax was one fifth of the total value of the commodity. Severe punishment were awarded for tax evasion. Money, economy, and currency. Large scale agriculture, besides providing the fiscal base of the empire, also provided surplus of for capital formation, usury and or money lending. Megasthenes' view of the absence of usury in India is not true. For Buddhist literature as well as Arthashastra provide sufficient evidence of its existence. Rate of interest varied from 15% to 60% per annum. Urbanization, it is natural adjunct to the growth of the trade and crafts. There were several important cities and trade centers like Sravasti, Kapilavastu, Rajgirta. Pataliputra, Ujjain, etc. About the society, change in the Varna system. The economic changes of the period did not allow the Vedic fourfold system to function smoothly. There was a reduction of the gap between the Vaishyas, most of whom were now concentrating on trade through others' continued cultivation, and the Sudras. There was improvement in their economic positions, but no stimulus improvement in their social status. Position of women. Brahminical literature was particularly severe in the treatment of women and assigned to them a very low status in the society. Buddhist texts, on the other hand, were much more considerate in treating them. Megasthenes testifies to of the growing practice of polygamy, employment of women as palace guards, bodyguards to the king, spies, etc. Permission of widow remarriage and divorce. Slaves and hired labor. Megasthenes' opinion about the absence of slaves in India is not correct. He was probably unable to recognize the system in India because of its marked different from the Western system, that is Greek and Romanian. So far we discussed about Mauryans art, Mauryan society, Mauryan kingdom. We have done. Please subscribe our YouTube channel.